Hi there, my brainwashed fellas. This is Joshua the Heretic coming at you today. I found this word. It's called Deo. It's in the Strong's. It's 1210 in the Greek, and it uses this word many times. And I wanted to do a word study with you. These references to the word Deo have some strong meanings about tying things down and holding things there and making things to be permanently attached. In fact, every time the word Deo is used, it's used in reference to the disciples and how they keep getting thrown in prison. Over and over again, they use this Deo word to talk about them being basically held against their will. But what's interesting is when we go into Romans and we go into Corinthians, the usage of the word changes, not the meaning, but the usage. Okay, so things that are bound on earth are bound in heaven, and things that are loosed on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And it talks about, John being thrown into prison, and it talks about Paul being thrown into prison, and Peter being thrown into prison, and Legion being tied up with shackles and things like that. So it's a pretty heavy word, this Deo. But ironically, it also talks about a woman is Deo to her husband as long as he liveth, but if the man dieth, she is no longer bound to him. So the word Deo is actually the word bound. If a wife be bound to her husband, she is bound to him until he dies. In fact, in Romans it says that in 1 Corinthians 7:27, it talks about the man also being bound to the wife. A woman is bound to her husband. The husband is bound to the wife. They are tied to one another. They are shackled to one another. And he cannot be unbroken. That binding should never be broken. That is the sin. If you break that bind, that is a sin. If anybody else breaks that bind, breaks that shackle, that's a sin. And it says in multiple places that the wife is bound to the husband as long as he liveth. If a man is alive and a woman has had sex with that man, she is shackled to him, just as the man is shackled to the wife. This binding is severe. It is not to be taken lightly. If you have sex, you are bound. Sex is marriage. If a man be joined to a harlot, they two shall become one flesh. So no matter who you have sex with, you are bound. And to break that bond is a sin. And it's a severe bind. I just wanted to bring it up. It uses the word bound multiple times in Scripture, and it's always talking about chains and bars and, just situations that... So, sex should be a permanent scenario. Marriage should be a frame of mind that you are connected, permanently fused together. The only way you can be set free is if your husband dies, or he walks on you, or she walks on you. If they walk out on you, you're not bound. If you break the bond, if you walk out, or if you force your husband to leave you, or you do something to break that bond, if your intention is to have that bond broken, you're the sinner. But if the other person leaves you, and leaves you all alone, you are set free from bondage. I guess that covers it. Alright, I'm the Heretic, and bye.